Hello, my Aloha tribe, and welcome to the Aloha Perspective. We get a little bit of something and a whole lot of everything. Happy Monday. It's Monday. I am here. I'm here. Oh, barely. But I'm here. So, last week, a friend of mine on a group I follow on Facebook posted this. It's A to Z of coping skills from elsasupport.co.uk. So again, it's elsasupport.co.uk. And yeah, I really liked this. So thank you, Debbie, for posting this. And I told her, I said, I'm stealing this for my show. But because it's A to Z, there's obviously 26 of these things. So I just want to go through half one day and half the other, because I think it would be wise to not try to cram everything into one day. So, because, you kind of want it to soak in a little bit, right? So, yeah, so, I don't know. I'm all over the place today. I am still trying to, good morning, Muddy. I'm still just trying to level out here as far as my spiral was going. So I'm getting better. This will probably be the last 4-day week, and then we'll go back to the traditional 5-day week. But we'll see. I'm just kind of playing around with days and everything. So, but right now it's just Monday. So again, I got this from my friend Debbie. And she posted it from elsasupport.co.uk. And again, it's A to Z of coping skills. So let's go through from A to M. And M is perfect because 13, it's the 13th letter of the alphabet, and that's my favorite number. So, but it's also halfway through the alphabet. So again, we're going to go A to M, and then tomorrow we'll do N through Z. Okay. So number 1, or letter A, ask for help. All right, we're going to go through these and then we'll cover each one after. B, breathe deeply and slowly. C, count forwards or backwards. D, drink some cold water. E, exercise, run, jump, skip, kick, throw a ball, run or walk fast. F, find a safe place. G, go to your happy place. H, hug a friend or family member. I, ignore people who are annoying you. J, jokes to help you laugh. K, kind hands, keep them to yourself. L, listen to calming music. And M, meditate, use yoga or mindfulness. When I first saw this, I'm all, watch M be something about like mindfulness. And sure enough, meditation or mindfulness. So, A, ask for help. I'm not the best person to give advice on this because I'm terrible at asking for help. Absolutely terrible. I did ask Sam for help this morning, but yeah, that wasn't even for me. So it tells you a little bit. It's not easy and it can be hard. Like I said, this is a tough one, okay? Because I'm going to cover a few different things here, and I'm going to use my own experiences with that. If you've ever gone through a traumatic event, or if you're basically a child of CSA, which is childhood sexual abuse, or any kind of abuse when you're a kid and you don't want anyone to know, you're told not to tell anybody, and you keep it a secret from everybody, including your parents. You learn not to ask for help. You learn, sadly, to kind of depend on yourself because you feel like, okay, well, if I can't tell them, how do I deal with this? And you kind of have to grow up a little too fast. Or, I'm also an only child. So there was a lot of things where, I had to depend on myself. Not because my parents weren't there. My parents were there. But again, like I said, I was hiding a secret. So I just kind of learned to become a little independent on my own. So all these people that say, oh my gosh, she's so independent, we're so proud of her. And it's like, it's kind of because it was a necessity at first. And then it just became kind of this little soapbox I stood on. I don't know how to put that. But it really can depend. So, but it took me a long time to learn how to ask for help. And I still struggle with it. So, don't be afraid to ask for help. If, you got a good support team who sits there and says, what can I do for you? Don't say, oh, nothing. Just, tell them, look, I could really use a shoulder or an ear today. Just don't be afraid to ask for help. Don't be afraid to say, hey, can you hold a little bit of space for me today? Or, if you pray, can you pray for me? Or can you send some gratitude up for me? Can you white light my situation? Whatever it is that you put your faith into, don't be afraid to ask someone to help you with that, okay? B, breathe deeply and slowly. See, Sammy struggles with asking for help as well. And I'm going to say that being the oldest in the family, is that a possibility? Why? Because everybody depended on you to already know what you were doing. Sometimes that can be it too. There's a lot of pressure that gets put on the oldest child, to be the, kind of like the pseudo parent of sorts, and I'm not saying that's everybody, but that has been my experience with a lot of people. In especially a certain generation, it's kind of like, well, both parents are working. And so, you, or for whatever reason, or maybe mom has to run out or dad has to run out. And it's kind of like, well, can you help your parent with the kids? And, so on and so forth. So, there's a lot of different reasons why people may struggle with asking for help. Maybe they've just learned how to depend on themselves. So, but again, asking for help will really take a burden off of your shoulders. So there's no shame in it. There's absolutely no shame in it. Okay. So again, breathe deeply and slowly. Breathe deeply and slowly. So there are a couple ways to do this. Okay. Especially if you find yourself kind of like, you feel like you're just kind of, So, and see, there's not even any words for that feeling. Just kind of, But there's a count to 4 and a count to 8, or there's a count to 4 and an exhale to 8. So you can breathe into 4, you can exhale to 4, you can breathe into 8, you can exhale to 8. When you get a little more accomplished at the breathing thing, because I don't want any of you to pass out, okay? You can breathe into 4 and exhale to 8, which means, you're basically emptying your entire diaphragm or your lungs or whatever it is. All right. So there's a lot of different ways to go about this. So, like I said, you can just breathe in, hold it for a couple seconds, maybe 1 or 2 to the count of 2, and then just exhale. It's really that easy. Now, if you're driving and you need to do that, please do not close your eyes. See, I got jokes. All right. C, count forwards or backwards. It used to be count forwards, right? But I think a lot of people have a lot of different ways that they just like to recite things. So, I like that this is very inclusive for those who like to count backwards. And I'm not being sarcastic either. I'm being honest. For some people, 10 through 1 is easier. For some people, 1 through 10 is easier. For other people, maybe just recite numbers that birthdays, anniversaries, numbers that are important to you. But what it's doing is it's removing you from whatever huge emotion you're feeling at that moment and helping you kind of level out a little bit, to just kind of get back to center and just go. So the breathing and the counting can really, really help a lot. D, drink some cold water. So my thing was, is this to create a brain freeze so you seriously forget how to, whatever it is you're coping with? I mean, come on. I'm not really sure with the whole cold water, because it was specifically said, drink cold water. So it's like, are they trying to create a brain freeze? Because I'm telling you, if you get a brain freeze, you are not going to be remembering whatever it is that you were trying to cope with. You're just going to be like, wow. Oh, and also, if you ever get a brain freeze, I've tried this. Now, I don't know if it'll work for everybody, but I actually tried this, and I did not purposely give myself a brain freeze. I just waited till I was dumb enough to have one. And I'm not saying you're dumb if you have one. Sometimes those cold drinks are just too hard to resist. But yeah, I always should know better. But put your tongue to the roof of your mouth. Okay, put your tongue to the roof of your mouth and hold it there. And I don't know if that's just because you're trying to hold it there so you're not thinking about it, or if it does some magical thing. I have no idea. But here's a little fun fact. Okay, I'm going to give you two fun facts. So we're gonna sidebar here. We're gonna sidebar here in the A to Z coping skills. Do you know why you get a brain freeze? It's kind of the same principle as why you get a food coma. So I learned this from a nurse once because I remember in my early years of being a pharmacy tech, my past days of being a pharmacy technician, I was talking to a nurse one day, and we were just kind of like, she's like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "Oh yeah." I said I had a big lunch. I went out with some friends today. I had a big lunch, and now I'm just like so tired. And I said, "I'm in a food coma." And she's like, "Do you know what causes a food coma?" So I'm gonna come back to that in a second. What causes a brain freeze is when you drink so much cold stuff, right? That you're kind of changing the temperature from here up. So what's happening is all the blood is rushing to your head to level out the rest of your body. Okay? And that's kind of the same principle of a food coma. When you eat too much, when you overeat or you overindulge or whatever, and you're like suddenly like, "Oh my gosh, I'm so tired," blah blah blah. And not turkey, okay? Turkey is tryptophan, which is supposed to make you tired. Well, which makes you tired. I don't know if it's supposed to, but it does. But no, when you're full and you have had a lot of food, all the blood rushes to your stomach to help digest it because it realizes, oh, there's too much in there. And so, of course, when you have blood rushing out of your head, you're going to get a little sleepy, you're going to get a little tired. So just try to walk it off. Okay, if you're at work, just try to walk it off or think it off or something because, or coffee, whatever, I don't know, whatever floats your boat to get your motors running again. All right, so now you know what causes a brain freeze if you didn't know, and now you know what causes a food coma if you did not know. So let's see, E, exercise. Run, jump, skip, kick a ball, throw a ball, run fast, walk fast. I think movement is key here. Movement is key here if you're trying to cope with something. There's Tai Chi, there's yoga, there's walking. If you want to walk outside. There are not a lot of places to be that excited about to walk around here, but yeah, for me, last week I decided to finally walk down the hill and go to my dad's pool that's in his complex. And it was nice because I picked the right time of day. There was nobody there, just me, myself, and I. And and so I had free reign of the big pool. And I just kind of floated. That was my coping. That was my coping mechanism. Eventually, I made it my way to the hot tub, which, I can only stay in for so long before I overheat and cook. But yeah, for me, I'm really a water baby. I love being in the water. There's something just very peaceful about it. But, and it's good exercise. Swimming is good exercise. But again, you can run. You can skip, right? It literally says run, jump, or skip. Make yourself a 4-square box, or not 4-square box. What is it? The jumpy one, the one, God, what is it called? I don't know. Sammy's like my brain, so I'm sure she'll remember in there somewhere. I see somebody else is on, but I don't know who it is. But anyways, so whoever you are, hello, good morning, or good afternoon, or good day, or wherever you are in the world, just in case, because I know Sammy's closing in on noon here. But yeah, whatever gets you out of your head. And sometimes, hopscotch. Oh, it's Cousin Jeannie. Good morning. Hopscotch. Thank you. Yes, hopscotch. A hopscotch square. Okay, so thank you. Thank you, cousin. So yeah, make a hopscotch. Oh, and Allie. Okay, so I have 3 people on, and it doesn't say I have 3 people on. So, one of you is a ghost. But anyways, okay, so good morning, Sammy, Allie, and Jeannie. So Allie is in the UK, Sammy's in Georgia, and Jeannie's just down the street. Like legit just down the street. If I were a bird, I could literally take flight, and the minute I'm up in the air, I'm down again. So yeah, she's that close. But, oh, Sammy says her phone doesn't want her to reply. Well, it worked this time. So anyways, okay, so we got exercise, run, jump, skip. My cousin goes to drums. Okay, so I'm not exactly sure what drums entails, but I've seen some videos, and basically I guess they put on music, you do some moves while you're drumming, so everything is getting worked out. She also is taking up pickleball, right? So there's all these things. I used to do 5Ks, and they were fun. They were a lot of fun. Plus, you get a medal at the end. So let's see. F. We're at F. Find a safe place. When it comes to coping skills, I think when they say find a safe place, because G is go to your happy place. Now, your happy place may be somewhere in your house. It may be a park near your house, or maybe the swimming pool or whatever. But sometimes you're not in that space, that area. So when it says to find a safe place, when I would just kind of be going out of my mind at work, and by that I mean just there's another one down here. Stay away from ignore annoying people. Sometimes people can get a bit much, and so I would literally hide in the big stall of the women's bathroom just to do some breathing exercises, just to catch my breath, because being the office manager of sorts, people are needy, and it's okay because that was my job and I understand that. But, sometimes you just need a break, because there are days where it's like, it's crickets, and then other days it's like a stampede, so you're kind of like, whoa, okay, plus you're doing your own work. So yeah, your safe place can be anywhere. There were places to go outside and walk. In the next complex over from where my building was, they had this gentleman, I can't remember his name, but he was a very famous, he designed like a outdoor architecture type stuff, and he designed this area that was supposed to encompass the entire spirit of California. And there was this one area that was supposed to, I think, be like the Yosemite Park, and it had the big tree. Or no, it was supposed to be the redwoods, but it had they weren't redwoods, but we had big tall trees, and it was just this nice grassy area that was very shady. So that was a good place to be. Find a safe place, or the bathroom, like I said. Or you can just go down the hall. There was this one little area that nobody ever went to because it was to the stairwell, but it was on the other side. So it's kind of like sometimes you just go, breathe there, So go to your happy place. If you're not happy, have a happy place, find a happy place. I know Allie is making a garden, so that is her happy place. Sammy, her backyard is her happy place. My cousin Jeannie, I know where your happy places are. Happy places. But we all have our happy place, right? Turns out mine is the pool down below, and yeah, and I'm sure there, and in the house, it's kind of my room. I have it set up the way I want to. My suitcase is over there now, and I have other stuff over there where I keep my incense and whatnot. And in a way, this is kind of my happy place because I can look right out the window. So you just go to your happy place when you're struggling. And here's the other thing: a happy place doesn't have to be a physical place. Okay, it does not have to be a physical place. You can meditate your way in to a happy place. Maybe there's a place in the world that is your happy place. And, you can close your eyes and remind yourself of this place. Maybe take out some pictures, have a little book that you can open and say, okay, I'm struggling today, and here are all these different places that I love, and just kind of focus in on that. So remember, your happy place doesn't necessarily need to be a place that you are physically in. It can be a safe space for you to go to mentally. All right. So hug a friend or a family member. I need a hug really bad. Okay. I need a hug really bad. My dad's not a big hugger. He's like a side hugger. But yeah, I am just dying for a hug because, let me put it this way. The other day I was at Target because I had to pick up some stuff because, hi, PMS. Okay, Allie says it perfectly. Make something similar to a vision board, but instead of a vision board, your vision board could also be your happy place board, Aw, my cousin says, hanging out and going on adventures with you is one of my happy places. Oh, thank you. Same. Same, same. We need an adventure. Even just a short one because I need a hug. I need a hug so bad. But yeah, last week or Thursday, I was at I had to go to the store because, I have girly things that happen once a month. And I was just wandering around and I was like, oh, it was Friday because I went swimming. And I was like, oh, look, they had this big fluffy bear. I mean, it was one of those like squishmallow bears, if you know what those are. And I literally started hugging it. But then this kid came around the corner and I was like, okay, yeah, she's going to think I'm nuts. So no, I'm going to let this bear go. But oh my God, I did not want to let go. It was so cozy and so fluffy. And I was just, I know. So anyways, I ignore people who are annoying you. It seems so mean, but at the same time, it's so accurate. Why would you want to be around people who are annoying you? Now, that doesn't mean that you don't love these people, okay? Maybe it's just a momentary thing where you might be all up in your head and you're just like, oh my God, I just, blah, 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 and they're annoying me. Well, you might be annoying too, okay? So be careful, all right? You might be careful you're not the person annoying someone else. I know I can. I can be very annoying sometimes. But yeah, if somebody is annoying you, just walk away. Walk away because all it's going to do is frustrate you, make you mad, and then, you might have an outburst and then all of a sudden you and this other person who may be someone important to you but is just currently frustrating you. I know. Sammy says, easier said than done with the ignoring. It really is, but you can either tell them, look, I need to walk away for a second, okay? Or excuse yourself. Just say, you know what? I'm really sorry. Just tell them, hey, you know what? I've been drinking a lot of water. I got to pee, and maybe just go in the bathroom, take a few deep breaths, and then come back out. Okay? Because sometimes it's all we need. Sometimes that's all we need is to take a moment is to take a moment to just get back into our heads, get back into our hearts, and say, okay, I don't know what's going on with this person right now. I don't know why they're being so annoying, unusually annoying, but I need a break. Now, in everyday life, may not be that easy. If it's on your computer, turn it off. Change the channel, do whatever, change the subject. If you can, but it's easier said than done, but not necessarily, because I've had as Sammy, I'm sure, and Allie and Jeannie have all had to, we've all had to deal with annoying people. And that's when you can just, like I say, just excuse yourself, go to the bathroom and find the big stall and then just take a few deep breaths in there. Okay. So, Jay, jokes to help you laugh. I'm full of terrible jokes, actually not really, but every so often, sometimes I just make myself laugh. I'm that weird, but that's okay. That's just a unique part of me. I love puns. I know people call them dad jokes nowadays, but they're puns. I'm sorry. They will always be puns. Screw the dad jokes. My dad hates those jokes. So, he does not like them. So I refuse to call them dad jokes because moms tell those jokes too. So they're just puns or whatever you want to call them. And no, not dad jokes or mom jokes. But yeah, jokes to help you laugh. There's some really just bad ones out there, but just keep your mind open to them. Or even earworms, right? Like they'll have earworms and, but they've turned them into puns, like earworm puns. And then the song just gets stuck in your head. So you have J, jokes to help you laugh. K, kind hands, keep them to yourself. Have kind hands, please, 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 please. No matter how much someone's annoying you, keep your damn hands to yourself. Just keep them to yourself. That's all I'm asking. Do not lay your hands on anybody. Do not put your hands on anybody. If you're defending yourself, that's another thing. But if it's a whole different situation and you are the one that wants to do it first, do not. Just walk away. Do your best to walk away, because apparently if you have to keep your hands to yourself, that's you trying to ignore an annoying person. So just walk away. And if they get mad, I don't care. Walk away anyways. Walk away. I mean, I have had, every so often, even with your loved ones, you're just kind of like, And I remember, I mean, I hate to say this, but yeah, probably about maybe a year or two ago, my dad and I just got into it. I don't know what it was about. I can't remember what it was. He was frustrated. I was frustrated. And unfortunately, we both ended up just talking to each other. And I walked away. So, oh, you're going to walk away? You're going to run away now? And I said, no. I said, I'm walking away before I say something I don't mean. And he just went quiet, because I'd never done that before. Usually we just sit there and we just hash it out. And it's just like, no, because what's the point? What's the point? It's just going to piss us off more. And so, when I came back about an hour later after calming myself down, we apologized. And it's like, I'm really sorry. It's like, no, I'm really sorry too. It's like, I should know better, and I should know better. Both of us, we should know better. So, yes, Allie, it is. So it's wrong to strangle the life out of them. Yeah, you don't want to be in jail. People are not worth it. All right. Nobody is worth going to jail for. I'm sorry. Well, I guess it depends on the situation, but no, I mean, I have seen parents stick up for their children in the most saddest of situations in courtrooms, and you almost can't blame them. But sadly, we do have a judicial system, so everywhere in this world that is a a good country. So no, please do not strangle anyone, no matter how much. Oh, maybe that's your happy place. You can go to that happy place and just pretend that you are, okay? Just pretend you're just choking the life out of somebody, whoever it is that's annoying you. 11. I don't know why I was going to say 11. L, listen to calming music. Okay, now this is funny because it says listen to calming music. My coping skills is heavy metal. I know it's not calming music. Calming music is nice and it can help me. But when I am way astray in the brain, I need heavy metal, And I know some people don't really consider Metallica heavy metal anymore, but they are. Okay, they are. Sometimes Disturbed, Pantera, that's like hard metal. Hard metal. But yeah, I mean, I know it sounds weird, but yeah, I mean, like, was it early last week, or maybe the week before? I was just, I spent 2 days straight sitting at the Starbucks for about 4 hours each, just listening to my playlist called In a Mood. It's literally called In a Mood. I have Scorpion on there. I have AC/DC. I have Metallica. I have Guns N' Roses. I have Pantera, Disturbed. Believe it or not, I have Andre Rieu. He is a concert violinist, but he has a big show, okay? And it's literally his version of Amazing Grace, which is nowhere near heavy metal. But for some reason, that's the one song. When I get to that song, I know it's kind of like, all right, everything's going to be okay. You're starting to calm down. So it's just like, my mom she used to get so annoyed because I would blast it when I was younger, but I had no idea. I didn't know what depression was because we didn't talk about it, I mean, this is when I was a teenager. But yeah, Sammy says metal hard rock works for her too. And Allie, yeah, you need to get the frustration out first before the calm. Absolutely. But, sometimes the frustration is better served not at one another. If the best way to talk to each other is going to be in the calmest voice. If you have something to say to someone, it's hard sometimes. I get it. And I've had to learn this because, like I said, Sissy Joe and I used to knee jerk, all the time with each other. It was just kind of like one, it would be a trigger of something that has nothing to do with either of us, but it would start a fight. And, we both had a lot of, trauma inside. So, unfortunately we became each other's punching bags. And it was hard. Oh, I see. She said frustration out by heavy metal. Absolutely. I mean, I like it anyways. I like all kinds of music. I'm not a fan of country or rap, really. But everything else, yeah. I mean, I have a playlist that literally has like Copacabana and, Master of Puppets in the same playlist. So you go all the way from Manilow to Metallica, but yeah, I'm all over the board. I'm all over the board. My music tastes are very eclectic, very eclectic. But yeah, I literally have a playlist just for my moods. The funny thing is, I used to play it on my way to therapy. That's actually how I created it, because I knew that if I got myself into a good headspace, I would talk to my therapist. But I know. So anyways, listen, instead of just saying listen to calming music, we'll just say listen to music. Listen to music. All right. So your favorite music, whatever brings you back to a calming place. And the last one for today. So remember, we're just going to go A to M. We're just going to do the 13 today, and then we'll do the other 13 tomorrow. Meditate. Use yoga or mindfulness. Now, I know yoga's not easy for everybody. There's also Tai Chi. There's Qigong. And of course, there's mindfulness, there's yoga. There's just regular exercise, stretching. Excuse me. What's happening in my throat? Excuse me. But anyways, yeah, meditate, use yoga or mindfulness. And again, Tai Chi, Qigong, you can find all these things on YouTube. Like legit, all these things on YouTube. Anything mindfulness. Lately, I've been falling asleep to tones. Just tones. Excuse me. I apologize. I do not know where this came from. My throat just started like, someone doesn't want me to say it. That's right. So I'm going to say it. Just, use tones. Right now, I listen to all kinds of tones. 174 hertz is my favorite right now. It's a super low tone. I also have a frequency generator on my phone for just the tones. Because sometimes, you put on YouTube and they have all this, cute music over it, or this supposedly soothing and calming music. And sometimes it is, but sometimes they just want the tone that's hidden inside. Excuse me. So I just go directly to the source. So yeah, that's what I've been falling asleep to. There's 432, 528, 6 something. I can't remember, 634. I don't remember. I have to write it down. But yeah, different hertzes have different effects on your brain. And, believe it or not. And I actually think that's why heavy metal really kind of soothes me, because it's the drums. It's the drums that always just kind of, or the bass, or just the deeper guitar tones. It's not even so much the music as much as it is the sounds that are layered within the music. So, and that's a lot of what it is for me, because I'm, when I'm not in a good place and I end up falling asleep, I always, the last thing I always remember hearing is the drums, because it's just that background in there. So, hertz can, like the HZ, like 174 HZ is a really low tone. The higher the number, the higher the frequency. And that's what they're called too. It's basically frequencies. You might have heard of, is it called solfeggio frequencies? There's like 9 of them. You can find those on YouTube as well, and it'll go through all of them from the lowest to the highest. And sometimes I'll sleep to those, but or sometimes I'll just put them on in the background. Like the other day, I had it on so long that I was like, what is that sound? It's like, oh yeah, because it was on the black screen. I like the black screen because I need to sleep in the dark. But usually I'm pretty good. I can sleep anywhere, but I prefer the dark. But yeah, I was like, what is that tone? It's like, oh, it's my TV. I forgot I had it on, but it did calm me. So, excuse me. I'm so sorry. So maybe they're just saying, okay, you're done. Cut it off. So again, M for meditate. Use anything that can help you meditate. The frequencies, the binaural beats, the yoga, the mindfulness, and there's lots of mindfulness and meditation videos on YouTube. Qigong. Now it might be spelled 2 ways, okay? Either exactly like it sounds, CHI, or the ones I usually find is QI. So, actually the original Qi, so Qigong, or again, Tai Chi. Tai Chi. Just a fun story really quick. And I don't know if you'll think it's fun or not, but my mom used to take a Tai Chi class. Sorry guys, I do not know what's happening with my throat. But my mom used to take a Tai Chi class and she loved it. I think she got all the way up to sort of it. I think she was right near advanced but I told her, I said, you realize if you speed that up, you could whoop someone's ass, right? And she's all, what do you mean? And I said, Tai Chi is a form of martial arts. And she's all, is it really? She never put it together. And I said, yeah, it's used to be meditative, but think about the moves you're making. If you speed them up, you can literally whoop someone's ass. And she just kind of giggled. And my mom loved to giggle. That's where I get my giggling from. But yeah, it was funny because she's all, it made her think. She never did it, but it made her think. So anyways, there you have it. All right. Ask for help, breathe deeply and slowly, count forwards or backwards, drink some cold water, exercise, find a safe place, go to your happy place, hug a friend or family member, ignore people who are annoying you, jokes to help you laugh, kind hands, keep them to yourself, listen to calming music, and meditate. All right. So we'll be back tomorrow with N through Z. I was going to say, name your emotion to zone out and relax. All right. So there you have a preview of N and Z. So again, have a great day, everybody. Thank you so much for watching. Allie, Jeannie, Sammy, thank you all. Thank you, Muddy, as always, for coming on every day. But yeah, thank you, ladies, for popping on. I appreciate it and sharing your thoughts. And Jeannie for helping me figure out hopscotch. I don't know how I forgot that. Gosh. But but have a great day, everybody. Thank you so much for watching. I'll be back here tomorrow, 8:30 a.m. Pacific time, Facebook Live. All lives are public under Shelley Marie Lucas. Anybody can watch. You can also find it across the board on social media, and I always upload to YouTube every day. All right. Have a great day, everybody, and thank you again for watching. See you tomorrow.